Hello and welcome to City Beat. Of course, we're your central source of news and information for the city of Rocky Mount. I'm Tamika Keenan Norman, Public Affairs Manager, and very excited to have with me today a person who has made strides not only with the city of Rocky Mount City Hall, but in the community of Rocky Mount as well and beyond. Gene Bailey, City Clerk, who's been with the city for 30 plus years and who is retiring after those years of dedicated service. Hello, Gene.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, and really happy to have you as a part of City Beat today. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, before we delve into your responsibilities as city clerk and how you feel after so many years, tell me a little bit about yourself, you know, where you're from and how you landed here in Rocky Mount.
Well, I was born in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, in a small town outside of Waynesboro, Georgia, a little community by the name of Gulf, which nobody's ever heard of. Waynesboro, Georgia is a farming, the Burke County, which Waynesboro is located in, is a farming county, mostly was then. My dad was involved in farming. And so I grew up, went to Waynesboro High School, graduated there, and moved to the big city of Augusta, which is about 30 miles away for school, business school, and went to work there after.
And you know, in the intro, I mentioned that you had been with the city 30 plus years, but exactly how many years have you been with us?
It depends on how you're counting, really and truly. I started out in a part-time temporary position in 1974. But I went full-time. I did that off and on for a while and went full-time in 1975. So, you know, I think any way you look at it, it's going to add up to around 38 years, close to 38 years, somewhere between 37 and 38 years. So.
Wow, that's amazing, Gene. It really is.
Well,
how do you feel after all those years? Did you ever think that you would be with the city for 38 years approximately?
No, actually, I call myself the accidental city clerk because when I came to work in the part-time position, I was just looking for a diversion. My children were getting a little older and they didn't want me around their schools as much, you know. When they get to be teenagers, they don't want to be seen with their mom very much. So,
yeah.
And so I was looking for a diversion. I was sort of bored, and I just wanted to do something part-time that would be interesting and challenging, and I just liked what I was doing. I just found out that it was so interesting that I learned and learned and learned, and pretty soon, you know, I was full-time, and the city clerk who was serving at that time, who had been for a while, her husband was transferred out of the state, and the position was open, and I was offered the position and took it. I actually have never applied for a job with the city. I've just moved from one to another. So.
Yeah, that was very fortunate. Now, tell me a little bit about what you do. I don't think a lot of folks realize how knowledgeable you have to be, how much research you have to do. Tell me about that.
Well, the city clerk in Rocky Mount particularly worked for the mayor and the city council, you know, the body, the mayor and city council. And we're responsible, city clerks everywhere, are responsible for, I guess, recording the history of the communities in the form of minutes they write from the council meetings that they go to. City clerks go to all the council meetings, committee of the whole, at the retreats, and do all the recordings. They have legislative sessions, any, you know, extra sessions that they have. And then we were also responsible for taking care of all the legal responsibilities. There's lots of deadlines that have to be made as far as advertisements of actions the council's going to take. And so we're responsible for meeting all those legal requirements, which is, you know, after you do it for a while, it sort of gets second nature, but in the beginning it's sort of scary because you're afraid you're going to miss a deadline, and when you miss it, everybody's going to know it because, you know, you have to do it over. It's a do-over type thing.
Right, right. And you say we, but you have a really small staff to work with, right?
I do have a small staff. When I started out, there were just two of us, myself and a secretary. As time went on, I was able to add somebody to do records to help to index the minutes so we could find information when we needed it. Somebody needed to know when something happened, we could find it. And later on, I was able to add an administrative assistant, so and actually a records person. So there are just four of us in the office, and one doesn't even work in the office. He works on the third floor and manages the records center down there.
Well, I have to commend you, your leadership, as well as your staff, because you all are on it. After a meeting, you have those minutes immediately. And if I have a question, I can always call on you or your staff. Now, tell me a little bit, because Gene Bailey, that name is synonymous with being a hard worker and being a busy person, a busybody. So
busybody, yeah, right.
Tell me a little bit about some of the professional organizations that you've been a part of.
Well, I've started out being involved in organizations to do with my profession, meaning the North Carolina Association of Municipal Clerks, the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, and I've served in leadership positions in both those organizations. I've served as president of the North Carolina Association and the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, and a lot of committees along the way. But locally in town, I am on the board of directors of the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus, and I am on the board of trustees for Edgecombe Community College and president of the Edgecombe Community College Foundation. I'm on Preservation Rocky Mount, helped found Preservation Rocky Mount, and I'm on that board, so served as president for a while, but currently on the board of directors. I guess some of the most, over the years, it's not in existence now as far as my involvement, but the Rocky Mount Senior High School Band Boosters. I was president for 3 years while the marching band in Rocky Mount competed and won 3 national championships. So 2 of those years I was president, so that was exciting.
Well, I guess I was right when I said busybody.
Busybody, yeah.
Yes, so.
There's probably other things that I've forgotten and somebody will fuss at me about it. But.
Right, right. And I think you mentioned to me, or someone mentioned to me a while back too, that you had traveled abroad with some of your professional organizations.
Yes, when I was president of the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, IIMC, they laugh at me because my southern accent comes out when I try to say IIMC. But I've traveled all over the United States to clerks, to state associations throughout the United States. But I also was fortunate enough to travel to Europe and South Africa, and even, although it is in the United States, I went to Alaska twice in the winter, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Somebody wanted to know once, who makes your travel arrangements and sends you to Alaska in the winter? Yeah.
But I'm sure they were all valuable experiences for you in this position.
They were, and I felt like that it was sort of an ambassadorship that I was able to make North Carolina real to people in lots of foreign, and a small town, really, a medium-sized town in North Carolina. In fact, I just have written a thank you note to Governor McCrory for the Order of the Longleaf Pine that I received last week, and in it I said to him, when I traveled abroad, I always took North Carolina gifts. I took something that represented North Carolina so that people would have that. After I left, they would still have that to put on their desk or display it in some way.
Okay. And speaking of the Order of the Longleaf Pine, you received that at one of your retirement celebrations. Were you shocked? How did that feel,
I was absolutely shocked, yes. I've seen, over my 34 years as city clerk, I've actually been city clerk for 34 years, I've seen lots of people receive it in this community and other places, and always thought how wonderful it would be to receive it, but never dreamed that it would be come to me. I think of myself as that little girl from Gulf, Georgia, a small community in Georgia that, it just seems unreal. It really does.
Well, you got it, girl.
I got it.
Tell me about some of your memorable moments. I remember when we had the 30-year anniversary celebration of City Hall, you talked a lot about being in the old building and some of your moments. Share those with us today.
Well, I think really one of the most memorable was when we moved from the old building into this building, because the old building was so cramped and just antiquated. Although they tried to remodel it and upgrade it from time to time, it just didn't have the space that we needed. And my office was on the 2nd floor, and the vault was on the 1st floor where all my records were stored. So it was a constant going back and forth. So it's wonderful to move into this building. But I don't know. I mean, just almost every day is memorable in this particular job because you never know what's coming your way. You know, there's going to be something different. Just you come in with your day planned and you don't get anything done that you got planned that day. But you know, I worked with two great mayors. I served with Mayor Turnage for over 30 years, and that was a great opportunity to learn because I always felt like he was just a professional in every way, and learned a lot from him. I think one of the accomplishments that I feel the most satisfied about is the fact that we were able to develop an indexing system for the minutes where you could find things, you know, if someone needed to know information that had happened some time ago or the council actions the council had taken, we were able to find them. When I first came here, there was no way. You had to, somebody had to remember a time frame, and then you had to just page by page look through the minutes to find something. Okay. You know, they would say, well, I think it was between this date and this date.
Well, I know you were glad to have that indexing
and so system. That's one of the things that I did that happened during my time. I didn't personally do it, but I had folks in my office who we were able to get that done. Okay. That was very important.
What would you say is probably your most challenging aspect of this job?
I think just learning all the different components of the job, and you know, it's that little thing that they always say, that the city clerk shall keep the records of the city and write minutes and do those kinds of things, and all of the things that's required by law. So, and I think that's the most to keep up with those laws. They change from year to year. You know, different requirements for the different things the council does. They change from year to year as the legislature decides because municipalities are creations of the state legislature, so you know they make different rules, and keeping up with them and making sure that those all those legal deadlines are met, and making sure the records are stored in a way that if someone comes in and needs one, that we could find it. Because sometimes it's even critical from a legal standpoint. I was in the early days. Doesn't happen much anymore. I was called lots of times in the morning to be in court by a certain time that day to certify that a certain ordinance was what the one that they that was connected to the case that was there, that was actually a law that was on the city's in the city's code.
Okay, I'm glad. I know you're glad that doesn't happen much anymore.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So Jean, after 38 years, how do you want folks to remember you as city clerk?
Just that I was a person who cared about my job. I cared about the city of Rocky Mount. I cared about the image of the city. And my entire career, I worked to make sure that image was that I didn't do anything to harm that image. I feel like our office also is the office that puts a face on the mayor and city council. You know, here in City Hall, and we always everything we do is to make sure that the best images is put forth as far as they're concerned as well.
Okay. And what do you plan on doing during retirement other than staying snazzy? Because you know you can dress. So.
Well, I tell you what, I have some things I want to do. I love gardening, and I haven't had an opportunity to do that much in the last 2 years. So I want to get my yard looking really nice, so when people ride down the street, they look and say, wow, she's got a nice yard. I also intend to do some traveling. I have, during all my international travels, I made friends in lots of different places, and I have some friends that spend the summers in Hungary, and I plan to go and visit them. And I have some friends in Australia, and I plan at some point to visit them for a while. And now I have time to do it. You can't go to some of those places and spend a week and you know, see anything or really enjoy it. So now I'll have the time to do that, and I want to spend more time with my my family. You know, they instead of just doing it on the weekend, now I can stay a whole week if I want, if they'll have me.
Exactly.
I don't know if they want me for a week.
Well, Jean, any final thoughts? Anything you want to share with our viewers or with other employees of City Hall?
Well, just to say that I've enjoyed every minute. I said in my remarks at the reception, well, maybe almost every minute I've enjoyed. But I've had wonderful people to work with. I don't think I'm going to miss coming to work every day so much as I'm going to miss the people. I have wonderful friends. I have made so many friends over the years here at that I've worked with. They are my colleagues, but I count everybody I've worked with among my friends, and I'm just looking forward to, you know, keeping up a relationship with them. And I hope that whatever I decide to do, if I get involved in other things, that they'll be as rewarding as my work has been here for the city.
Well, Jean, I'd just like to say I've only been with the city for about a year now,
right.
But I've enjoyed you, and we all thank you for your years of dedicated service.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, and I might call you to get some dress tips.
Okay. Okay. I love it. I go shopping with you.
Okay. Well, thank you as well, all of our viewers, for tuning in to another edition of City Beat. Right now, we'll take a look at some of the photos and some of the footage from Jean Bailey's retirement celebrations.
Secrets to Jean's success as city clerk are her ability to organize, her attention to detail, her loyalty to the mayor and city council, her insistence on providing excellent public service and excellent customer service, and her patience.
Further, we extend our sincerest, best wishes to Jean as she undertakes this new chapter in her book of life, a chapter that includes doing whatever she pleases, whenever she pleases, a chapter entitled Retirement. And we are so honored that you serve in our association. Thank you.
So today, Mrs. Bailey, after 37 years of outstanding service to the city of Rocky Mount, I am welcoming you to the retirement city, where you will not have to get up in the morning if you don't want to, where you can enjoy your grandchildren and travel if you desire. It's all up to you.